Alright guys, back like I said, day 2 of whatever this is, experiment, challenge, yeah, and just a period of trying to do as much as I can. Not trying to have any expectations, but I did a video yesterday very quickly. Today I'm doing a video. That's what this is. We'll see about tomorrow, but you know, it's one day at a time. Anyway, so yesterday we did the 135mm, which I probably bought in like late 21, because I think I got my first camera in like March of that year. My first camera, my first like mirrorless prosumer level camera. So as I kind of mentioned yesterday, I had an old film SLR that a family member gave me. And it came with Pentax K lens. I mean, it's Pentax K mount camera. It came with Pentax K lens. In fact, it came with this one. This is the Hanimex. Yeah, it's gonna go Hanimex. Whatever the focal length is, 35 to 70. And this lens, it's not in great condition anymore because I haven't treated it very well. This lens is kind of one of a group of lenses, a type of lens that was super prevalent from like the mid 70s to the mid 80s. And at that time, photography was huge, and 35mm cameras made cheaply and in good quality cameras in Japan and then Korea and other places. They brought this kind of 35mm film photography to the masses. So jumping on that, a lot of other brands would sell cameras. And you would buy, like, you would go to your department store, JC Penney or similar retailer, and you could buy kits, and the kit would be a camera and then usually a lens like this, 35 to 70, kind of a standard zoom, and then occasionally also something like maybe something like this, 70 to 200 or other things. So this one's from Vivitar. This is 70-200 from Vivitar. What Vivitar would do, and Hanimex and these other brands, they would order these kit lenses made in the same factories as actual quote-unquote photography brands, like actual brands like Cosina, things like that, and they would just slap their branding on it and would sell it exclusively in like Sears catalogs or at the Sears store or at JC Penney or department stores like that. So, you know, we've got the Hanimex here. This is a Rikenon. What is this? Also 35 to 70. Very similar. Like they're very close. Yeah, the Hanimex is a push-pull lens, so like push it up and down. You know, like zoom in and out. This Rikenon, it's got a zoom ring on it, so you twist the ring and that changes your focal length and your focus ring. And you know, these are mostly metal. Maybe a little bit of plastic on the focus ring or the zoom ring. Another one of these brands and the lens I want to focus on today is Gemini. So Gemini, this is another one where this is probably just a brand that would mass order these lenses and then just slap their branding on it. The thing about all of these lenses is the idea is they're supposed to kind of do everything. So if you're just getting into photography, someone buys you one of these kits for Christmas or your birthday, or you buy it yourself, you save up your paper route money, and then you buy a kit like this. So they wanted to make these lenses to be able to do kind of a little bit of everything. Not particularly well. They're not primes with fast apertures like a 50 1.7, but they're variable aperture, still pretty good build quality. I mean, these are almost 50-year-old lenses, 45-year-old lenses maybe, that work, and they haven't broken. The quality maybe leaves a little bit to to be desired. I'll show you later in the examples. But not only are these all, they're, vaguely the same focal length, this one's a little bit wider, so this goes 28 to 80, whereas these are 35s. And you can see, like, it's a bit long, a bit taller of a lens as well. So not only that, but they all do macro to some extent. Now, true macro is 1-to-1, meaning the size of the object that you're taking a picture of, or whatever you're taking a picture of, is 1-to-1 translated to the sensor or your film through the lens. So you're actually getting a full picture of what, you see what I'm saying? Like, the exact size is being translated to the film through the lens. Because these are kit zooms, they definitely cannot do 1-to-1. Like, for true 1-to-1 macro, you generally need a very specialized lens, and those are expensive. These, again, are kit zooms that, for beginners to kind of get a taste of it. They wanted you to be able to get a standard kind of wide length, a little bit of a telephoto / portrait, focal length, and then a macro. So this one, if you look on the focus ring there, it says macro 1-to-5, so meaning it's 1/5 of the size of the object is being translated to your sensor film. This one I can't actually find anywhere. It says close macro on the ring, or on the outside, but I can't actually find a measurement anywhere. Like, it doesn't say what it actually is supposed to go to. I'm gonna guess, because these lenses are roughly the same size, it's about the same. But this guy, the Gemini lens, kind of interestingly, it has its own separate macro ring. See that? It says macro. And if I push that button and then twist this, it brings up this completely different distance measure. So whereas on this side, that's giving you your rough focal lengths, 28, 35, 45, 60, and 80. When you twist it and you get this macro ring, and then it shows you it can go 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.8, and 1.10. 1-to-4. So is that is that a much bigger difference? Not much. Not compared to 1-to-5, 1-to-4. Not a huge difference, but the fact that it's kind of built more into this lens. But looking up Gemini lenses, there's not a whole lot of information. I don't know where this was made. I don't know what factory this was made in. I can't tell you much more about the company, but a lot of what I was seeing was like, oh, they just make plasticky, crappy lenses. Well, this isn't plasticky. This lens is all metal construction, except for, again, maybe some plastic or rubberizing around the ring. And I think that there's just like a little bit more attention to detail. I found this on eBay, again, probably for like $20. And it came with a lens case, came with the original lens cap. This lens is in great condition. It's probably barely been used in the last 40 plus years. And it's just, it's at least interesting. It's at least, I won't say the quality is fantastic. Again, we're going to go through some samples in a minute here. Yeah, it kind of, are these lenses fantastic optically? Absolutely not. They're like, compared to the 135 we talked about yesterday, which is total workhorse. I mean, these will work, and being vintage lenses, they have interesting optical qualities, and they have character to them. Character with vintage lenses, I think sometimes people use that as kind of an excuse. Like, that's how you justify buying old lenses. Like, oh, it's got character. It's not just a clinical computer-assisted lens. But so anyway, we're gonna go through some examples here and then kind of talk about it. Yeah, so I was just messing around with the macro this morning and trying to see what kind of things I could see. Okay, I started with this Rikenon lens. I just kind of wanted to have a comparison. You can see how hazy everything is. I'm not sure if there's haze in the lens or maybe fungus or something. Not a lot of contrast here, but I mean, you're getting a pretty good macro reduction. And you know, if that's kind of a style you want to go with, like kind of a vintage, already hazy lens kind of look, maybe that's interesting to you. That could be fun. Like I've just got a UV filter on the top of this. Can't imagine that's causing a lot of this. So first couple are with that lens. It's interesting for sure. And then I think these are with the Hanimex, so you can see the contrast immediately improves a lot. But then these are with the, I mean, pretty good reproductions, and the sharpness, obviously, look, it starts getting blurry out here. I'll point out I was shooting these on the A7 II to get the full frame effect. You know, it certainly covers the full frame. We're not getting a little bit of vignetting up here. There's none down here, so I don't know, or not that much. But you can see the edges start to get kind of blurry. But then these, this is where we started using the Gemini lens. So immediately you can see we're focusing a lot closer. And, you know, just shooting this indoors with my LED light. So, I mean, even at 3.5, totally usable. Get really close and look at these textures. Just trying to find things that had detail up close. So pretty sharp right in the middle, and then starts to get kind of blurry. Obviously that's out of focus, but look how blurry it gets kind of in the corners here. You know, maybe someday I'll actually get a test chart. So I took the Gemini out for a walk. Again, I can focus pretty close. Drops of water on these leaves. Looks pretty good. Berry thing I found. You know, not terribly sharp. A lot of contrast, but the out of focus area is pretty pleasing. Kind of a, I mean, again, if you were using this as kind of a portrait lens, you might not be too upset with. That's pretty cool. Not again, not nearly as sharp or contrasty as the 135, but the 135 can't focus as close. I was probably just a couple inches away from these things. So here's kind of more of a standard focal length. I don't know, out of focus in the corners. Definitely getting that kind of vintage lens, low contrast thing in the corners, but and I will say it was kind of hard to focus. It wasn't a very easy lens to focus with. So nothing really here is that in focus. What are you gonna do? All right, here's some more of this macro. So this is 1:4. I couldn't seem to get this helicopter focus, but you can see kind of the pine needles here, pretty sharp. And again, we're pretty close. So what is this thing in real life is maybe ½ an inch long. So not bad. Here's some moss. This is moss, and it's crazy kind of the detail you're getting this close up. Again, just looking for textures here so we can kind of see how sharp. I'm not mad at that at all. And like, these are the raws. These are just unedited straight out of the camera. Good amount of contrast. I like the colors. I might have had a drop of water on the lens right here because it was raining still. But yeah, I'm not mad. I seem to have trouble if I was trying to shoot vertical as opposed to having more trouble focus. And again, maybe that was just because there's rain on the lens and this isn't as good. So I tried to do a test. So this one I shot at 1:4 macro, and you can see I still got it in focus. We're a lot less contrast here, but it was just a green. So then this is 1:6, maybe 1:5. Yeah, 1:5. This is 1:6, 1:8, and then 1:10. So like, you're able to get these kind of really nice detailed macro shots if you're looking for those kind of textures like that. And zooming in even further, it loses contrast. Here's this shot. I think I shot this at 1:5 or 1:4. Piece of bark hanging off a branch. Yeah, it's a little smeary down towards the bottom. Kind of as a whole, it looks pretty good for, again, for like a social media aspect, if you're just going to be looking at it from Instagram kind of. Here's this tree. This one I think was at 1:10, and then I zoomed in to 1:4. So you can kind of see 1:4, that's kind of where this lens is doing the best. Nice and sharp in the middle. Again, so you get out here to the edges. Cast at a tree I saw. kind of worried something was going to fly out at me. Good sharp, you know, fine enough sharpness, but look how blurry it gets up here. So yeah, and again, here's just kind of a standard wide angle. I was trying to see this texture of the tree. Yeah, the coating, obviously we're getting a little bit of glow and flare on the lens. Contrast is again some moss. Bad. I'm not sure what this is. That flare, maybe another raindrop catching the light or something. Right here, I mean, texture, you can kind of see this lichen or whatever. It almost looks like a tilt shift, the way like the top and bottom, maybe the left and right, kind of veer out of focus. And again, this is at the macro. That could be something desirable. You might not. So yeah, anyway guys, that's this lens. This is a Gemini 28 to whatever, 80. Gemini 28 to 80. Another kit zoom lens. And out of the 3 of these kind of like vintage kit zoom lenses I own, probably the best performing. It's also, you know, still in its case. So possibly that it's been taken care of, so it's just in better condition than the other ones. So again, if we're talking about democratizing art and being able to create what we want, this could be something to look at if you want to get into basic macro. If you want to just have a lens that can do quite a lot. Does it do it extremely well? No. Does it have autofocus? No. Does it have any kind of image stabilization? Absolutely not. And it's heavy. It is again one of these lenses that's, you know, made of just glass and metal. And in fact, because it's a zoom lens, it will probably have more glass and metal. Just give it a little way. Oh yeah, it is noticeably heavier than the 135. That's a chunk. That's another one of these brick lenses, and that's something about vintage lenses you're gonna have to be aware of. You can buy new prime lenses that are all plastic. You know, I got the Sony Nifty 50 right here. This thing is really simple. This is like the first autofocus lens I bought that wasn't like the kit lens, and it's really light, and, you know, barely any metal except for lens mount. And if you get up to stuff like this, where this lens is huge, you're going to be front heavy on your mirrorless camera, and that could actually rip off the camera, the lens mount on your camera. So something to be aware of. But yeah, guys, maybe just something to look into. If you're interested in vintage lenses, find one of these kit zooms. And they're probably super cheap. Try and find one that's in good condition, and it'll last you forever, and it'll do a bunch of things fine. Yeah, I'm really selling it right now. But anyway, that's just it's a lens I bought a while ago. I barely used it, and I barely talked about it. I've never talked about it, so thought it might be interesting to do a little comparison between these 3 kit zooms and talk about that Gemini that does 1:4 almost macro. But anyway, guys, this is a short one today, and again, I'm gonna try and keep making videos, so talk to you guys tomorrow.